Okay, so I got it. So here's the difference between when someone is just having a legitimate argument versus a narcissist doing that argument. So they're going to use a technique. This is one of the techniques is they ask the question and they cut you off and then they disagree, and they vehemently argue and say you're wrong about a subject they know nothing about. They ask question, interrupt, argue. Question, interrupt, argue. Now here's the thing. Now that is not, people in argument and debate even know better than that. They know you gotta let the other side talk. So here's the thing. The difference is this. You will feel a sting. You will feel like an emotional pain, like a sting in your heart or your solar plexus. Every time I get that, I'm like, oh, I'm dealing with a narcissist. Because even the very first conversation, about 5-10 minutes in it, something in my solar plexus didn't feel right. And it's just like a dead energy. If you are intuitive, if you have learned to listen to what your body is feeling, if you're paying attention, like, wow, something doesn't feel right here. So that's how you can tell, is that physical pain that you're going to feel. The other thing was that I said before was when she said, well, all you have to do is walk away. It was the way she said it with the attitude, like she's superior. Oh, that was another thing. So let me kind of finish that off, like she was superior. Only a weak-minded person, and here's what she said, would get caught up in an entanglement like that. Only people who talk about narcissists and narcissism use that word. It's a very, because the goal is for them to get you caught up in the entanglement. That's the whole goal, right? So it's like you're caught up in a spider's web and you can't get out. Oh, well, only a weak-minded person would caught up in an entanglement like that. She goes, oh, I would just walk away, right? Well, here's the deal. Remember, we don't know we're playing a game. We don't know if someone else is doing these mind games with us. It's not like they have a sign and they announce it to the world, like, hey, I'm going to play with so-and-so's mind today, okay? So be easy on yourself if you got caught up in their entanglement. It's really not your fault, okay? It's theirs. So, which I know we're not supposed to blame, but the fact of the matter is they are playing the game, and you're not playing the game. You're trying to deal with the person on legitimate level, not realizing that they're playing this under game. So don't be hard on yourself, because otherwise we wouldn't have the word manipulation, tricking, being tricky, and lying and stuff like that, okay? So let's see if there's, oh yeah, here it goes. The other fact was she wanted to dominate the entire conversation. And it wasn't just like she wanted to speak the most, because she kept asking me the questions. It was more like she wanted to control the conversation. Not just control the conversation, but control me. When I started feeling like this control thing, I was like, narcissist. At the very least, control freak. And I don't deal with those kind of people. I walk, okay? So let's see. Okay, here's another thing that they do, that she did. Anytime in the beginning when I talked to you, oh, so you think you're better than me? Or she said above me. Right there, that's another narcissistic trait. Narcissists escape from their emotional system, right? So they go into what's called the either-or world, the either-or mentality. So the either-or mentality is it's either you or me. It comes from the reptilian brain, because the narcissist escapes from their human brain, which is the emotional, the relationship brain, the social brain, which is the right brain. They go so far away from that they end up in the reptilian brain. That's the fight or flight instinctual brain. It's literally exactly like a lizard or a snake. I'm not kidding. There's no thinking going on. It's pre-programmed instincts. And this is why narcissists do all these techniques in the way that they do. If they could, they would probably kill you, but they can't, because they'll either get thrown in jail or they get killed themselves, okay? So instead, they take this instinctual thing and they turn it into control. This is where the slave master mentality comes from, is from the lower reptilian brain. And that's what they act like. They act like, you're my slave, do as you're told. I know a lot of you have had that experience, haven't you? The reptilian brain is real simple. Because when you're in the right brain, your pupils get larger and they pull out. And what they're doing is they're seeing a broader perspective, right? When you're in the reptilian brain, it's like you're looking down this narrow path and you're looking down this little tube, almost like you're looking under a microscope and you only see a little tiny bit. So what happens is they look at this tube and they look at, say, the bug, and they look across, oh, there's a lizard there, and they go up and down. They're like, well, I have to kill that lizard in order to get this food, when there's plenty of food all the way around them. They can't see all the other options and possibilities because that's a right brain function. Think about that. Okay? This is why they always feel like they have to dominate you. Because in their world, well, either you're dominating me or I'm dominating you. Either I'm successful or you're successful. And here's what I said to the lady today. They never think in terms of you can be rich and I can be rich. You can be successful and I can be successful. And she automatically said, this was my client, she automatically said, she goes, well, yeah, of course. I'm like, the fact that you answered that so congruently, so naturally, shows me that you're a right brain person. A narcissist, I had a client who was like this, and he believed that I was trying to manipulate him and trick him. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Okay, this was a couple years back. I'm like, no, I'm trying to show you like the abundant way. The right brain is the abundance brain. The limited mind is the reptilian mind. You have to learn how to pop out of that. Otherwise, you're going to be limited your whole life. Here's another thing that came up in the conversation. We were talking about wealth. She had this solid belief that there's only some people that can be wealthy and the rest of us have to be poor, and that's just life, and that's just the way. And I'm like, no. I go, if you have that mentality, then that's all you're going to see. You're going to see that one piece of meat, whereas if you opened up and looked around, turned your head, oh, there's some food here, there's some food here, there's some abundance here, there's some abundance there. But people that come from the limited mindset, which is operating from the lower reptilian brain, which is on your brainstem, that's all they can see because they're very focused, like a laser beam. And this is why people call them lizards. And there's a lot of YouTube videos talking about, well, they're in human bodies, but they're lizards. Well, they might actually be reptilians, the whole spiritual thing. At the very least, I will say this. They are operating off of their reptilian brain. You can go to any doctor, any psychologist, go to any Psychology 1 class, and that's the first thing they teach you, the left brain, the right brain, the lower reptilian brain, the reticulating activating system, and also the frontal lobes. It's the very basics that you learn in psychology. This isn't some spiritual thing. This is common sense. So that, I think, is enough right now. I think, let me just see if there's anything else in the notes here. All right, here's kind of a funny thing. All right. Maybe I'll make another video about this separate video. All right, I will. I'm going to be back. I'm going to make a separate video.